Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. As you can tell, in a new place. Sorry about the crazy upload schedule the past few days, but unfortunately it's going to continue for reasons that I hope are apparent right now. Today we're going to do what I failed to do about 5 different times the last time I tried to record videos. We're going to talk about this bad boy, the BBBarfly Barracuda V2. Now this is not my first time trying it, as I mentioned in the last video. These are failed recordings that I decided to redo, but I haven't even thought about flipping in the past like 2 weeks. So the only time I flipped were while I was trying to record this video. So I probably have, about, an hour flipping this thing. So while this isn't, bone stock out of the box impressions, it is still first impressions or very early impressions. First of all, here's what comes in the box: pouch, extra hardware, BBBarfly sticker, bag tag, more stickers, and a business card, and of course the Barfly keychain matching the color of your Barfly. And the improvements to the V2, besides the obvious different milling and pivots towards the end of the handle, also includes better tolerances and just an overall more refined feel, which is really, really great to see. The Barracuda was something that I tried at Blade Show, but not for very long. While I think that my memory and my ability to remember how I feel about ballad songs is quite strong, unfortunately I need a lot of time to really figure out that. I need a lot of time to develop those feelings, and that's time that I didn't have with the Barracuda at Blade Show. So all I can remember is that I really, really liked it, but I can't remember why. So when BBBarfly reached out to see if I was interested in getting a V2, I was very, very excited, because not only would I get to try out their new V2, which looked incredibly interesting to me at the time, but I'd finally get to spend some time with the Barracuda to see what made it so good to me. And unfortunately, I won't be able to comment on the comparison between the V1 and the V2, but there are so many other people that review ballad songs nowadays. I'm sure you can find that comparison out there somewhere. So what do I think of the V2? I think this thing goes a long way to improving what BBBarfly did to set out to do when they first initially made the Barracuda. BBBarfly's products were always known for having a ton of personality, but not a ton of performance. They were super, super fun, but some people didn't like them because they were overly handle biased or they were overly goofy. I personally love the personality of them, but to each their own. So they made the Barracuda, which took that kind of BBBarfly goofy flair and put it in a more standard package in terms of dimensions and flipping profile and balance and weight distribution and all of that. And now this aims to make it even more standard, even more competitive, if you will, with these new weights towards the end of the handles. Barfly, as far as I know, has never done something like this in their Firefly. I mean, I guess the Superfly technically, but in terms of like your aluminum trainers, something like this is unprecedented. They usually get all of their ass weight from just putting a whole hunk of aluminum right at the edge there. And that's what kind of goes towards creating that really unique Barfly balance profile and weight distribution that I love so much. But that's also what makes this thing a far more competitive flipper, because nowadays the meta, if you can call it that, is all about kind of pushing metal into the weights so that you can have as many hole cutouts as you can for grip, but you can still keep that handle weight and that momentum in order for it not to be blade biased or to spin out in things like chaplains. And the Barracuda is incredibly, incredibly successful in those avenues. Grip overall is very good thanks to these new cutouts, although I will say that I don't feel them as much as I thought I would. I really only feel them on fans and reverse fans. I don't really feel them on rollovers or chaplains. Which is probably a good thing, because I know a ton of people were concerned about how comfortable they would be. And while I can say that they are a little uncomfortable, the fact that I really don't notice them on most tricks is a point in the Barracuda V2's favor here for me. Chaplains are sticky. Momentum is nice. It carries just enough momentum without making it feel overly heavy or ass-weighted. And it also leaves a lot to be desired in terms of like that BBBarfly personality. While it does have that little bit of flair, and it is still thicker than some other balisongs in terms of how thick the handles are, that BBBarfly flair is definitely subdued, but it's there. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that this thing can flip competitively, do all the tricks that you would want it to, but you can still have that fun of, you know, BBBarfly. That's what I loved the Prisma for so much. It had that machine-wise flair, but it flipped so damn good to my hands otherwise, which meant it had the performance and it had the personality. And I'm finding a lot of the same here for my very brief time with the Barracuda. Remember, this is not a review, even though I'm kind of talking, or this isn't a follow-up video, I should say, even though I'm kind of talking like it is. This is just based on the few hours or so that I've been flipping it. I'm interested to see where that goes in the future as I flip it more. I feel like maybe I might find that I wish that it carried a little more momentum. And I certainly don't really see myself enjoying it without these pivot weights in the end. I think it would lose a lot of the momentum and kind of lose a lot of that performance. But only time will tell. I will have to try it without the weights, but that's going to be a little ways down the road. Otherwise, I do feel a little bit of weirdness overall. I cannot tell, unfortunately, if that's due to my relative lack of flipping lately, or if it's because of the Barracuda V2. The weirdness is just it carrying momentum in strange ways that make it feel like I have to put more effort into flipping it than I really do. While it's not a huge deal, it has been something that I've been noticing, although most of the time I find that it responds perfectly well to what I want it to do. Rollovers are sticky. You can see giraffes are actually pretty good with it. It responds very well to fans, while definitely still having a little bit of that BBBarfly handle bias. Besides the Superfly with no weights, this might be one of the most neutral BBBarfly products that they've come out with, just in terms of the overall balance between the blade and the handles. I mean, the Barracuda blade is very long, so we're not talking about a huge difference here. And with the decreased metal weight towards the end of the handles, this just feels like a far more standard package for a BBBarfly product. And I'm really enjoying it. I find that that is something that I am very attracted to with this thing. And I really, really like it. Final first impression, the jimping, really, really solid. I really like the jimping. It digs into your hand enough to be uncomfortable, but honestly, I will take that discomfort if it means that I don't lose the ladder, which is kind of the BBBarfly Barracuda V2 in a nutshell. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable, especially if you're more sensitive to things like this, but I will take that little bit of discomfort if it means that the flipping experience is improved because of it, and I believe that in this package it is. So while it remains to be seen where it's going to land, I think that the Barracuda V2 has a solid contender to be one of my favorite balisongs under 200. A crown formerly held by the Prisma Pro, but now I have a hard time recommending things in this price range besides something like the Vault Pro or the Nibali's Wing, because I was so attached to the Prisma Pro, and now I can't recommend that because you can't buy it anymore. So maybe the Barracuda will be the thing that steps in to kind of take over that throne, because it's the thing that I've been enjoying the most lately, and it's the thing that I really just see myself flipping quite a bit, similar to my BBBarfly Firefly. So I want to throw a huge thank you out to BBBarfly, who did send this over for free but didn't tell me what to say in this video, nor paid me financially in any way. No financial compensation, no compensation of any sort other than the balisong itself, so that I could do these videos. And as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. But for now, I'm going to get back to sorting out this mess of an apartment, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.